The stage is set for the most ridiculous coronation the heavens have ever seen. These lovely attendants announce that it's finally time for the main event to begin. The golden gates surge with lightning as the crowd holds their breath for the emperor. Suddenly, actual fighter jets scream across the sky because our boy loves a flashy entrance. Behind them, a massive golden carriage floats through the clouds, pulled by heavy celestial chains. Dwanji lounges inside, looking completely unbothered while enjoying the finest wine and company. The sheer pressure of his arrival sends clouds of dust and smoke billowing over the spectators. This random cultivator is absolutely dumbfounded by how trash-tier his own transport looks in comparison. Nearby, a swooning fangirl is practically melting because the Emperor's flying treasure is just that breathtaking. Finally, our boy reveals himself, looking like a true sovereign who was born to rule. The entire empire bows in unison, as the Heavenly Show Emperor finally claims his grand throne. A system notification chimes, rewarding our boy with trillions of points for his legendary coronation performance. He grips the heavenly Tao seed, realizing he now has the power to rewrite the world's laws. He starts explaining his rise to greatness, claiming it all began with a legendary general's wisdom. In reality, he's just watching a trash-tier meme on his phone about a 5-star general. Back in the modern world, this shut-in is just a regular guy laughing at his screen. He hits the like button, but the screen suddenly flares with a blinding, supernatural light. Panic sets in, as he realizes his phone is literally dragging his soul into another dimension. Somewhere else, 2 confused laborers are digging a grave when the corpse suddenly starts to stir. Our boy wakes up covered in dirt, realizing he's actually transmigrated into a world of cultivation. Our boy is completely dumbfounded, wondering if he has somehow been turned into a mindless, walking zombie. He climbs out of the dirt and demands to know what these trash-tier goons are trying to do. The 2 laborers realize he is awake, but decide it is easier to just kill him all over again. One thug lunges forward, claiming that even as clan members, he is just an obstacle for the young master. He throws a heavy punch, catching our hero completely off guard before he can even process the situation. Dwanji is sent reeling, realizing these guys are not playing around and actually want him dead for good. He slams hard into a nearby tree, the impact knocking the wind right out of his newly acquired body. The attacker just laughs, savoring the feeling of putting a former young master in his place once again. Slumped against the trunk, Dwanji warns them that if they do not finish him now, they will regret it. His eyes burn with a new fury as he vows that these thugs will not be getting away with this. The laborer mocks our boy for being a trash-tier cultivator who thinks he can actually fight back. He suddenly lunges forward and grabs Dwanji by the neck, ready to squeeze the life out of him. As the thug prepares his claw of fortitude, Dwanji frantically prays for his system to finally intervene. Staring death in the eye, he realizes that, without a miracle, his transmigration is going to be short-lived. Suddenly, the attacker begins to choke and collapse, his body failing him at the most critical moment. The man's face turns pale and veiny as he realizes he has been hit by something far more lethal. His partner stands there in total shock, watching his comrade fall like a sack of potatoes. Our boy is completely dumbfounded, checking his own body, and realizing he is somehow totally fine. The remaining gravedigger panics, screaming that Dwanji is a vicious snake for using hidden poisons. Terrified, he unleashes a fire scroll to burn our boy to ashes before he can strike again. Dwanji stares through the inferno, his eyes wide as he realizes the fire isn't actually hurting him. The flames roar around his body, but instead of turning to ash, he feels a strange surge of energy. He looks at his hands in disbelief, wondering how a trash-tier fire scroll failed to leave a mark. Suddenly, the system fairy pops up to announce he just earned massive points for an accidental detox show. Our boy is ecstatic as the system rains down top-tier rewards like marrow-cleansing pills and trial cards. The gravedigger is absolutely dumbfounded, unable to comprehend how anyone could survive being roasted alive. Dwanji steps out of the embers, looking like a total boss as a new quest for vengeance triggers. The thug's face pales when he sees not even a single hair on his target's head was singed. Standing tall amidst the smoke, our boy mockingly asks if his attacker has finally run out of pathetic tricks. The system fairy explains that being a cold-blooded show-off is exactly how he'll farm more power from now on. Dwanji mockingly swallows a pill and tells the thug he better kill him now before it's too late. After using the marrow-cleansing pill, our boy instantly breaks through to the 3rd stage of the body martial realm. The gravedigger panics, accusing him of using a deadly poison that is even making the surrounding trees wither. Realizing he's outmatched, the coward tries to bolt, while Dwanji just laughs and farms more taunt points. Our boy flexes his new strength, deciding it is finally his turn to go on the offensive. The thug is completely dumbfounded by the terrifying pressure, realizing he has messed with the wrong young master. It turns into a literal hunt, as the system rewards Dwanji for chasing his prey through the woods. Cornered and bleeding, the traitor desperately begs for mercy, while citing the family rules against killing clan members. Dwanji just looks down at him, noting those rules didn't seem to matter when he was being buried. A final strike echoes through the forest, sending birds scattering as the trash-tier killer is finally put down. Dwanji reflects on the original owner's tragic life, vowing to protect his sister as his own. Our boy sets off with a cold gaze, ready to finish the path the previous soul couldn't. Meanwhile, the sun sets over the Dwan estate, where trouble is brewing for the innocent. A pair of trash-tier lackeys corner the young master's sister, pressuring her to submit to another's whims. Duan Yuer tearfully threatens them with the clan's law, hoping someone will finally stand up for her. The arrogant Dwan Kan just laughs, claiming the law is meaningless when his own father runs the show. She remains defiant, refusing to let these vultures take advantage of her brother's supposed death. Losing his patience, the bully grabs her face and declares he's getting exactly what he came for. She feels completely hopeless as the pervert closes in, realizing no one is coming to save her. Suddenly, the gate shatters as Dwanji arrives like a demon, demanding they keep their filthy hands off. Our boy makes a grand entrance, earning system points for his overbearing aura, while threatening to kill anyone involved. Dwan Kan is completely dumbfounded to see him alive, questioning how a brain-dead idiot could possibly return. The arrogant brat mocks his sentimentality, promising to make him watch while he torments his sister. He orders his trash-tier lackeys to handle the distraction so he can get back to his business. The two goons charge forward with a roar, fully intending to send him back to the afterlife. Their strikes land with a thud, but our boy catches their fists like they are nothing but air. With a cold gaze, he declares that the weakling they once knew has been replaced by someone far deadlier. The lackeys break into a cold sweat, realizing their combined strength can't even make this monster flinch. Terrified for her brother, Yuer begs him to flee and just live well instead of seeking revenge. Meanwhile, Duan Kan remains oblivious to the shift in power, turning his predatory focus back onto the girl. Duan Kan keeps running his mouth, calling our boy a useless waste who isn't worth his time. His smug grin vanishes instantly when he realizes his two goons have already been folded like laundry. Our boy decides to return the favor, kicking one of the trash-tier lackeys straight at his master's face. Yuer watches in total disbelief, unable to process how her brother became this powerful overnight. Scrambling back in fear, the arrogant brat tries to hide behind his title like a true coward. He desperately flares his aura, claiming his second-stage cultivation makes him an opponent he shouldn't provoke. Our boy closes the distance in a flash, making the bully's supposed power look like a joke. He mocks the brat for relying on pills, calling his cultivation nothing more than a hollow facade. A massive slap sends the bully spinning, earning our boy a nice stack of heavenly show points. Holding his swollen face, the coward weeps while our boy asks if he really thought he was untouchable. Duan Kan loses his mind, screaming that our boy needs to die for this humiliation. He lunges forward with everything he has, but his desperate strike is met with overwhelming force. A sickening crack echoes through the air as his bones shatter against Dwanji's superior strength. The brat screams in agony, finally realizing that his pill-boosted power is completely useless here. Hes sent flying like a ragdoll, smashing into a stone wall that crumbles under the impact. Gasping for air, the bully can't fathom how a supposed piece of trash just dismantled him. Our boy stands over him, coldly stating that refusing to admit weakness leads to a dead end. Instead of reflecting, the arrogant brat doubles down on his rage, promising to make him pay. He attempts a desperate mountain-splitting stone kick, hoping one flashy move can turn the tide. Dwanji easily shuts it down, noting that even high-level arts fall to simple, straightforward strikes. Duan Kan is absolutely dumbfounded, his eyes wide as he realizes he is way out of his league. Our boy doesn't hesitate, crushing the brat's precious pill into dust right in front of his face. The arrogant young master wails in despair, watching his only hope for a comeback literally slip through his fingers. He pathetically begs for mercy, promising he will never bother them again if he can just crawl away. Dwanji isn't buying the act, coldly asking if he really thinks he can just walk away after this. The bully drops to his knees, calling Dwanji his grandfather just to save his own miserable skin. Watching this, Duan Yuer can't believe this powerhouse is the same little brother she used to protect. Desperate, the trash-tier noble pulls out a bag of gold, hoping to buy his way out of trouble. Dwanji snatches the loot, joking that he might be poor, but he has a rich man's greed. He claims it is just compensation for the property damage, warning the brat to never show his face again. Duan Kan tries to play nice, hoping his fake smile will earn him a quick exit from this nightmare. Our boy isn't having it and sends the bully flying with a kick, blaming his naturally punchable face. The trash-tier noble is dumbfounded by the cruelty, screaming that he is being pushed way beyond his breaking point. Dwanji just stares him down, mockingly asking if he truly thinks this treatment is a bit much. He hoists the brat upside down, gaining more points by shamelessly claiming his handsome face makes him trustworthy. While the bully begs to leave, our hero realizes this guy is actually the clan head's precious son. He decides to spare him for now, planning to use the spoiled brat as a literal walking ATM later. With a final warning, he tells the coward to grab his goons and vanish before things get worse. If the brat ever touches his sister again, Dwanji promises to leave him in a million pieces. Terrified for their lives, the young master and his lackeys scramble away as fast as their legs allow. Dwan Kan flees like a total coward, swearing hell make our boy pay 100-fold for this humiliation. When Dwanji tries to check on his sister, she flinches, clearly terrified by this sudden display of power. Tears well up as she questions if this monster standing before her is truly her weak little brother. Our boy realizes he can't exactly explain transmigration, so he desperately racks his brain for a believable lie. Luckily, the system fairy pops up, offering to sell him a perfectly reasonable plot explanation for some points. Without a second thought, he begs the system to handle the talking so he doesn't blow his cover. The lie works perfectly, making Uer believe he survived a cliff fall and found a legendary hidden master. Overwhelmed with emotion, she weeps to their late parents because her brother is finally a capable cultivator. She pulls him into a tight hug, sobbing about how he's no longer the clan's favorite trash-tier punching bag. Dwanji holds her close, feeling a pang of guilt for all the years she suffered alone. Dwanji vows that as long as he's around, no one will ever bully his sister again. Uer breaks down, lamenting her own lack of cultivation and wishing she could be the one protecting him. Our boy just laughs it off and suggests they go buy some new clothes to celebrate. The moon rises over Purple Rand City as the pair wanders through the bustling, lantern-lit streets. They pick out some exquisite floral fabric that looks far better than the rags they were wearing. Uer spins around in her new pink cloak, hoping her brother thinks she looks good in it. Now sporting a fresh set of robes himself, Dwanji compliments her before heading to his own room. Uer stops him, worried that the petty Dwan Kan will hold a grudge and strike when they least expect. He tells her not to sweat the small stuff and promises to stay alert as they part ways. Stepping into his room, our boy finally has a moment to breathe and plan his next move. Lying back, our boy finally feels like he's living a real life instead of a meme-filled nightmare. Suddenly, the system interrupts his rest by issuing a high-stakes quest to level up his cultivation speed. He slips out into the dark woods, eyeing the massive point totals needed to reach the 6th stage. If he wants to protect his sister from the clan's trash-tier bullies, he needs more raw power. He knows time is tight, so he prepares as several pairs of glowing eyes emerge from the shadows. A pack of hungry night wolves lunges forward, but they've picked the wrong cultivator to mess with. Our boy delivers a heavy blow to the first beast, realizing these mutts are just warm-up fodder. He dives into the fray, deciding to fight until the adrenaline makes the whole grind feel good. One by one, the wolves hit the dirt as he effortlessly tears through their weak defenses. After clearing the pack for easy points, he realizes these low-level mobs won't help him finish his quest. Dwanji senses something lurking in the brush, realizing the forest has more than just wolves. A massive armored shell rat lunges out, and the system fairy warns him it's a fast, dangerous beast. As the monster snaps its jaws, our boy remembers he still has an unopened reward chest to use. He pulls a new skill called Weaken, which cuts an enemy's damage in half for 5 crucial seconds. Since he needs more offense, he drops 1,500 points to instantly manifest a high-grade Heavenly Show sword. Hess impressed by the system's generosity, especially since the purchase came with a free master-level sword art. He doesn't have to wait long for a target as a pair of giant centipedes crawl into view. These golden armored pests are at the 4th stage, making them the perfect test subjects for his blade. With a single fluid motion, he unleashes a devastating strike that cleaves through the monster's reinforced shell. Hess dumbfounded by the quality, laughing because the edge is so sharp that not even blood clings to it. Time flies as our boy keeps grinding through the night to maximize his gains. He finally breaks through to the 5th stage of the body martial realm, feeling more powerful than ever. He notices the forest has gone quiet, wondering if the local monsters are actually hiding from his presence. Suddenly, he stumbles upon the mangled corpse of a high-level sandiron savage bull. Seeing the fresh blood, he realizes another predator is nearby, and likely far more dangerous than him. He cautiously approaches the source of the carnage, keeping his guard up for any sudden movement. In the middle of the clearing, he spots a mysterious girl sitting among a pile of bones. She's savagely devouring the raw beast meat, looking more like a monster than a human. Our boy gets a bad vibe and decides it's best to back away before she notices him. But luck isn't on his side as his boot snaps a dry twig, breaking the silence. Dwanji freezes and tries to play it cool, telling the girl he's just passing through and means no harm. But as she turns around, our boy realizes this isn't some lost traveler. She's a blood-soaked nightmare. The system fairy explains she's a death spirit corpse, an undead host with at least 5th stage martial strength. Before he can even process the danger, the creature lunges at him with speed that defies human logic. She slams into the nearby rocks with enough force to shatter stone, proving her raw power is terrifying. Realizing he can't talk his way out of this, Dwanji readies his blade against the fierce opponent. He decides to test the waters first, launching a calculated stab to gauge her defensive capabilities. His sword closes the distance in a flash, aimed directly at the creature's exposed back. To his horror, she reacts instantly, catching the cold steel with her teeth like it's a mere toy. Despite her insane reaction speed, our boy just smirks, knowing he's already prepared his next lethal strike. Our boy lands a clean hit, thinking he's finally put this trash-tier monster in the ground. He stands over the fallen body and mocks her, claiming she wasn't nearly as tough as advertised. His smugness vanishes instantly when he notices the system hasn't sent a kill notification yet. To his horror, the creature's mangled face begins to knit back together with a sickening squelch. The undead girl leaps into the air with a massive boulder, ready to crush him into paste. Dwanji barely blocks the strike, realizing her speed and raw power have suddenly skyrocketed. He grinds his teeth against the pressure, deducing she has already ascended to the 6th stage. While dodging the flying debris, he realizes he needs to find a specific weakness to stop this zombie. The monster lets out a feral scream, lunging forward with a terrifying level of bloodlust. Knowing he's fighting a literal corpse, Dwanji readies his blade to end her undead fate permanently. Dwanji swings his blade with everything he's got, determined to put an end to this nightmare. He delivers a final, crushing blow, mocking the creature's undead nature as he strikes her down for good. Our boy finally gets the kill notification, raking in over 1,000 points for defeating a 6th stage threat. He wipes his blade, satisfied that his gamble on a headshot being the creature's weakness actually paid off. As time ticks away in the silent forest, he realizes his grind for points is far from over. Hess still a bit short on points and jokingly hopes another high-value monster will cross his path soon. Suddenly, a rustle in the bushes catches his attention, making him wonder if he actually summoned something. He spots a purple garment fluttering nearby, dumbfounded that a literal girl might actually be out here. A creepy voice nearby starts praising a sweet scent, making the atmosphere feel incredibly oily and gross. Turns out it's just the surviving gravedigger, who's been hiding and sobbing into a scrap of cloth. The girl in white is paralyzed by poison, calling her attacker a shameless pervert for such a low move. This trash-tier villain loses his mind, screaming that he is anything but shameless after all he has done. He chokes her, venting his rage about how much effort he poured into the Yan family business. Turns out he is just a bitter adopted son, jealous that the old man passed the inheritance to her. Our boy watches from the sidelines, realizing the world is apparently crawling with creeps these days. The heiress does not back down, telling the beast she would rather love anyone else than a monster. He pulls a blade, completely unhinged that she still has the guts to defy his pathetic demands. With a knife to her throat, he forces her to confess her love, desperate for any scrap of validation. She points behind him, claiming her heart belongs to the shadowy figure that just appeared out of nowhere. The villain freezes in total shock, realizing his private moment of villainy just got crashed by a real threat. Dwanji ends the trash-tier villain's life, declaring that his actions were against heaven and reason. As the traitor hits the dirt, the system rewards our boy for his heroic save and flashy execution. The heiress looks up in total awe, thanking her mysterious savior for stopping the madman just in time. Dwanji casually prepares to leave, acting like saving a high-ranking merchant's life is just another Tuesday. She stops him, blushing as she asks if he really plans to leave her in such a vulnerable state. Our boy completely misinterprets her, telling her to handle her own business as the system rewards his dense behavior. She bursts into tears, clarifying she just needs help escaping the poison or whatever is keeping her pinned down. Realizing his mistake, he uses his blade to flick a piece of clothing toward the distressed lady. He tells her she is finally free to go, earning even more points for his legendary straight man energy. She huffs in frustration, realizing this powerful cultivator is as dense as a brick when it comes to romance. Dwanji stands over the trash-tier traitor, while the heiress watches her savior with absolute awe. Our boy leans in with a confident smirk, clearly enjoying the heroic atmosphere he just created. He tries to walk away like a boss, but she desperately offers him money to stay. Claiming he only cares about being a good person, he asks how to clear her sealed magic. The heiress suggests a kiss is the only cure, though she clearly didn't expect him to move fast. Without hesitating, Dwanji locks lips with her, leaving the poor girl completely dumbfounded by his sudden boldness. She shoves him back in a panic, crying that he didn't even let her finish her sentence first. Our boy actually acts offended, complaining that he sacrificed his precious first kiss just to save her life. He strikes a legendary pose, totally ignoring her frustration while feeling like a true main character. Suddenly, the system fairy pops up to remind him he only has 10 minutes left for his quest. Dwanji tells her to quit stalling and give him the cure because he needs to farm more points. She explains that transferring Dantian Qi through a kiss is the only way to purge the magic sealing poison. Our boy realizes he can exploit this, claiming mouth-to-mouth is actually a forbidden art that defies the heavens. The heiress is completely sold on his lie, thinking this divine technique could actually skyrocket her cultivation potential. When she begs him to try it, he warns that one mistake with this art leads to total Qi deviation. She doesn't buy the act and taunts him, questioning if he is just too trashed here to pull it off. Being called incompetent triggers his pride, and he demands to know how she dares to insult his skills. He doubles down on the drama, acting like he sacrificed his very chastity just to keep her breathing. The poor girl feels like a total villain for doubting such a selfless hero while he racks up points. She breaks down in tears and apologizes, while our boy just watches his system rewards roll in. Our boy sees the quest reward notification and decides it's finally time to stop bullying the poor girl. He puts on his best hero face and promises to save her from the poison right this second. The heiress looks up with tear-filled eyes, completely falling for his dramatic act of selfless sacrifice. 5 minutes later, he is performing his divine art, which looks suspiciously like a very long, passionate kiss. Once the deed is done, she feels her energy returning and confirms the poison is completely purged. He rests his head on her lap like he is exhausted, soaking in the gratitude of his victim. Being a high-ranking merchant, she does not hesitate to hand over a stack of 5,000 gold coins. Our boy starts walking away with a cool wave, leaving her wondering who this mysterious savior actually is. He drops the name Duan Chizi with a smug grin, keeping his true identity just a bit shrouded. She is left in a daze, trying to figure out if the Dwan family actually hides such a monster. The heiress calls out to him, frustrated that he's vanishing so quickly without even leaving an address. She stares at his retreating back, swearing that she'll track him down no matter where he hides. Even as he disappears, she's already daydreaming about experiencing that divine mouth-to-mouth technique just one more time. Meanwhile, a local street vendor is busy prepping his morning stock when a massive order comes in. The poor guy is completely dumbfounded, wondering if this customer is actually serious about buying 10 whole baskets. Our boy just flashes a bag of gold, proving he's got the cash to back up his massive appetite. As he snacks, he grumbles to his system about being treated like a machine instead of a human. The fairy just shrugs it off, reminding him that surviving those 6-stage beasts was all part of the grind. He drops the food off for his sister, promising her a shopping spree once she's finished her breakfast. Finally, he sinks into a hot bath, letting the exhaustion of a literal all-nighter wash away. Dwanji is finally relaxing in the tub, but the system fairy refuses to let him rest for long. He finds a note from his sister claiming she's out with friends, which honestly leaves him feeling pretty suspicious. Our boy finally hits the sheets, desperate to catch some sleep after a brutal night of non-stop beast grinding. The fairy isn't having it and literally kicks him out of bed, demanding he get back to work immediately. A high-stakes quest appears, forcing him to win the clan assessment or face a truly brutal physical penalty. He calls her a total dog, but she reminds him that laziness leads right back to his trash-tier past. Standing before the clan, he grumbles about her capitalist ways, while she just mocks his lack of ambition. With no other choice, he charges into the fray while his little guide cheers him on to victory. He launches into the air, leaving the crowd completely dumbfounded by his sudden and dangerous display of power. He sticks the landing with a heavy thud, making sure everyone knows the family's former loser is officially back. Our boy strolls up to the registration desk, casually informing Uncle Fu he's entering the upcoming clan assessment. He flashes a confident smirk, fully aware that his presence is about to turn this whole place upside down. The old registrar looks on in total shock, wondering if the kid has finally lost his mind for real. Nearby clan members start howling with laughter, already planning to use the family's failure as a literal sandbag. Uncle Fu leans in close, desperately whispering for him to leave before he gets himself killed for being stupid. Before he can respond, a trash-tier rival interrupts to remind everyone that only true cultivators are allowed inside. His companion joins the mockery, sneering at the idea of a weakling like him even standing on this ground. Dwanji stands tall and invokes the ancient clan laws, proving his status as young master grants him entry. The arrogant pair just laughs it off, insisting a piece of trash like him doesn't deserve his family's title. He stares the bully down, reminding him that his grandfather's rules are far above a mere 5th stage's pay grade. A trash-tier lackey starts barking, claiming the family head's coma means our boy has no protection left. Dwanji doesn't even let him finish, delivering a heavy strike that sends the loudmouth's teeth flying. As the goon hits the dirt, the system rewards our boy with a fat stack of showmanship points. The blue-haired rival is completely dumbfounded, while his companion actually starts finding this whole situation interesting. The orange-haired girl leaps into action, demanding he kneel, while our boy realizes his speed is off the charts. She dives in with her blade, boasting about her top-tier martial arts like she's already won the fight. Our boy effortlessly weaves through her strike, making her fancy footwork look like a total joke. He counters with a blur of motion, leaving the arrogant girl struggling to even track his position. The impact sends shockwaves across the courtyard, proving our boy isn't the weakling they once knew. The rival breaks into a cold sweat, unable to believe that the clan's failure mastered physical martial force. The orange-haired girl pushes her speed to the limit, desperate to land a hit on our boy. Her blade slices through nothing but air as he continues to dance around her trash-tier attempts. She can't wrap her head around how a supposed failure is outclassing her 4th stage cultivation so easily. Dwanji just smirks, telling her he loves watching side characters struggle to keep their pathetic dignity. Realizing she's outmatched, she screams for her brother Diao to step in and handle the situation. Our boy stands his ground, completely unfazed by the sudden shift in the battle's momentum. The blue-haired rival lunges forward with ghost steps, aiming a lethal kick directly at his head. He wears a twisted grin, convinced that this single strike will finally rid the city of an idiot. Turns out his speed is a joke to our boy, who vanishes and leaves the rival kicking shadows. The girl's heart sinks as she desperately warns her brother that he's about to get folded. Our boy doesn't just dodge the strike, but counters with a heavy kick that shatters the rival's momentum. The impact sends the blue-haired genius crashing into the dirt, leaving him completely broken and unconscious. His sister rushes to his side, screaming in disbelief that her brother was just folded like laundry. She tries to act tough by threatening him with the clan head's influence, but she's clearly shaking. Dwanji just laughs as his system points skyrocket, telling her to go ahead and report his dominance. He declares to the stunned crowd that he's officially starting his revenge against every branch that bullied him. The old registrar intervenes to stop the fighting, advising the girl to get her brother medical help immediately. Even with the girl's whining, the old man insists he must follow the rules and allow registration. As he brushes the ink onto the scroll, he sighs, knowing the upcoming assessment will be a bloodbath. The system fairy chirps that his days of playing the weakling are over since he's stirred the hornet's nest. Our boy bickers with the system fairy, questioning if she's a helper or a secret enemy sent to suffer. He realizes the 6th stage is just the start, and plans to grind until he hits the 9th stage. While wandering the city, his sharp eyes catch a commotion that smells like trouble and potential system points. He finds a girl kneeling in despair, forced to sell her own body to afford her father's burial. A trash-tier noble treats her like a cheap toy, offering a measly gold coin to buy her life. The bully mocks her filial piety as a scam before ordering his goons to haul her away. Just as they move in, a sharp command rings out, making the arrogant noble freeze in confusion. Dwanji makes his entrance, casually telling the thugs to back off because the girl is with him. The noble is dumbfounded to see the former clan trash actually standing up to him in public. He laughs it off, mockingly asking how that poisoned wine from the brothel tasted after his last scheme. Dwanji delivers a satisfying slap, sending the trash-tier noble spinning before he can finish his sentence. As the bully hits the dirt, our boy casually claims he was just swatting a pesky fly away. The noble frantically asks his goons about the fly, but they are just as dumbfounded as he is. Losing his mind, the noble screams for his lackeys to tear Dwanji apart for the public humiliation. Dwanji doesn't break a sweat, slapping the goons down while joking that the fly keeps moving around. The thugs collapse in agony, realizing their family jewels just took a hit they might never recover from. With a cold smirk, Dwanji warns them to find a doctor immediately or face a very quiet future. The noble chooses survival over pride, scurrying away while Dwanji mocks his fragile second brain. Turning to the grieving girl, our boy tosses her several gold coins to ensure her father's proper rest. The filial daughter is stunned by his generosity, barely believing that a stranger would give her so much. Our boy hands over the cash, telling the girl to use it to start a brand new life. He gives her a reassuring smile, promising that her days of suffering are finally over. As he walks away, she shouts that she'll find him to repay the favor after the funeral. With tears in her eyes, she silently vows that her life now belongs entirely to her savior. Back at the registration desk, Dwanji casually checks if his name is officially on the list. The system fairy mocks him, noting he'd be a punching bag right now if he hadn't signed up. Suddenly, the little guide starts choking and frantically begs him to pat her back. He just holds her upside down, joking that her choking is more embarrassing than her system. With a loud hack, a strange, ornate pouch flies out of her mouth and hits the table. Our boy picks up the loot, wondering what kind of trash-tier treasure she just coughed up. A system prompt reveals he banked nearly 1,000 points because that girl he saved actually fell for him. The system fairy is absolutely fuming, claiming she is done with his nonsense after that upside-down stunt. Our boy just gives her a smug look, suggesting she might want to reconsider that silent treatment. He reveals a rare request coupon he just looted, leaving the little guide dumbfounded by his insane luck. As he ponders his wish, she panics and warns him that she is definitely not on the menu. He clarifies he only cares about a power boost, since everyone knows he is no longer trash tier. When he demands a jump straight to the 9th stage, she can only cry about how shameless he is. She breaks out an abacus to show he is still tens of thousands of points short of that goal. He starts crunching the numbers on the gold-to-point exchange rate, looking for a shortcut to the top. She hurls a top-grade manual at his head, telling him to sell it if he wants those points. The system fairy is completely fed up with his nonsense, and practically begs for a swift end. Our boy realizes the system actually blessed him with a legit top-grade entry martial technique this time. He starts tweaking the manual, figuring he should nerf it slightly before letting anyone else learn it. He makes his way to the Yan Family Chamber of Commerce, ready to flip his work for points. Rocking a disguise, he asks Master Shu to appraise the modified technique for an upcoming auction. The old appraiser invites him to sit while he prepares to dive into the manual. Master Shu double-checks if this specific sword technique is truly the item he intends to sell. He notes that such high-level entry techniques are rare, and thanks him for choosing their commerce chamber. A polite attendant serves him tea, clearly impressed by the mysterious vibe he is putting off. Dwanji sips his drink, thinking the old man's eye for talent is actually pretty trash tier. Master Shu is completely dumbfounded when he realizes the manual is actually a top-grade treasure. Sweating bullets, the old man begs for another chance to properly examine the masterpiece he almost dismissed. He finally admits his eyes were trash tier for misjudging such a high-level entry technique. The appraiser promises a spot in tonight's auction and hands over a prestigious heaven rank token. Our boy checks out the token, knowing his little nerf job on the manual worked like a charm. Master Shu treats him like royalty now, bowing low and asking him to follow along. He gets led to a private VIP lounge, where he can kick back until the auction starts. Dwanji finally ditches the disguise, feeling pretty good about how this scheme is playing out. He lounges around like a boss, thinking this luxurious lifestyle is exactly what he deserves. The system fairy pops up to kill the vibe, reminding him he would still be trash without her help. A sudden knock at the door breaks the silence as a voice asks if the maid can enter. A girl named Tian Roru walks in, looking ready to serve our boy in whatever way he requires. He stays on guard, suspecting this might be a trash tier test to see if he can be easily swayed. Things get awkward fast when she begs for his acceptance, revealing she was sent to share his bed. He figures the Yan heiress is testing his resolve, trying to see if he is just another thirsty cultivator. Refusing to play along, he tosses a robe her way and tells her to get dressed because he is uninterested. The girl is left dumbfounded by the rejection, as most men in this world would have jumped at the chance. She starts sobbing, explaining that failing this task means she will be sold off into a life of slavery. Seeing her distress, he promises to handle the explanation to her superiors so she stays out of trouble. She bows in gratitude, relieved that her new master is actually cut from a much more honorable cloth. Tianru stares at him, completely stunned by his unexpected kindness after expecting the worst. Our boy notices her staring and casually offers her some snacks if she is feeling hungry. She does not hesitate for a second, immediately stuffing her face like she has been fasting for weeks. He chuckles and asks if the prestigious Yan family is actually in the habit of starving their staff. Turns out she was just too shy to ask where the cafeteria was on her first day. Suddenly, a chime rings out, announcing that his modified manual has finally been sold to a buyer. He puts his mask back on, ready to head out and collect his hard-earned gold from the deal. Walking through the halls, he heads toward the appraisal room to finalize the transaction with the staff. Master Shu enthusiastically reveals that the Clear Breeze sword art fetched a staggering 1 million gold pieces. Our boy is dumbfounded, wondering which rich sucker actually paid that much for his trash-tier manual. The attendant presents the auction statement, reminding our boy that the chamber keeps all client identities strictly confidential. As he signs, they discuss how local families are desperate for techniques, especially the genius from his own clan. She explains that as a top-tier VIP, his fee is low and the 1 million gold will be transferred immediately. However, she nearly chokes when he pulls out a specific gold card belonging to the legendary Cui Shui. Satisfied with the deal, our boy prepares to head out while the staff bows in deep respect. He strides through the massive hall, unaware of the waves he just caused among the chamber's elite. Master Shu sternly warns the attendant to never dig into his background, fearing they might offend a hidden powerhouse. The old appraiser is visibly shaken, realizing that anyone holding that specific affiliate card is beyond their league. He finally reunites with his servant, but finds her looking completely different than when he left her. Poor Tianroru is a sobbing mess, likely overwhelmed by the sudden change in her once miserable fortune. Dwanji finds Tianroru trembling outside, and tells her to stop loitering and come inside to talk. Suddenly, a loud-mouthed manager barks at them to stay put, furious that an outsider is interfering with chamber business. Our boy doesn't flinch and demands to know exactly what kind of mistake the girl supposedly made. The manager pauses to size him up, his eyes narrowing as he looks for any sign of status. He notes the trash-tier wolf-hide mask and cheap hemp robes, convinced he's just dealing with a broke pauper. Feeling emboldened by the lack of luxury gear, he sneers that a beggar's protection won't save her from punishment. He lunges forward with a snarl, claiming she should have been sold off to the pleasure exchange like her sister. Before his hand can even touch her, Dwanji's hand snaps out and catches his wrist mid-air. Our boy calmly reminds the bully that while the chamber has rules, calling him a thing was a fatal oversight. His grip tightens with a sickening crunch, making it clear that this trash-tier manager just picked the wrong fight. Our boy follows up with a brutal kick, making it clear he's here for some well-deserved payback. The trash-tier manager hits the dirt hard, his pride shattered along with his balance. He screams about his status as a steward, desperately calling for his goons to handle the brat. Nearby, Master Shu watches, initially pleased that his plan to connect with the heiress's friend is working. But as the lackeys rush in, the old man realizes exactly which idiot is causing the scene. Panic sets in as he wonders if his brainless subordinate just ruined their only chance at a deal. The manager points a trembling finger, ordering his men to seize the man who just humbled him. Master Shu charges onto the scene, his face a mask of fury as he demands an explanation. Thinking he's doing his job, the steward brags about throwing out a nobody to serve their guest. Before he can finish, the master bellows at him to get on his knees and start begging. The trash-tier manager laughs, thinking his uncle is backing him up and ordering our boy to hit the dirt. Turns out, Master Shu was actually screaming at his own brainless nephew to get on his knees instead. The old man bows low, telling the young master he can dispose of this idiot however he sees fit. Dwanji just sighs, noting how these Yan family types love acting like big shots before checking the facts. Master Shu stays silent and humbled, knowing one wrong word could ruin the chamber's reputation forever. Desperate, the manager clings to his uncle's robes and begs for mercy for the sake of his mother. Master Shu just starts kicking the life out of him, shouting that he has no nephew so pathetic. After the beatdown, the master insists the guild won't tolerate such treachery, and our boy finally agrees. Instead of finishing him, Dwanji turns to the servant girl and gives her the power to decide. Poor Tianroru is completely dumbfounded, realizing she is the one who gets to call the shots now. Tianroru makes it clear she never wants to lay eyes on that trash-tier manager ever again. She drops to her knees, begging our boy to let her stay and serve him in any way possible. Master Shu asks how to handle the situation, but Dwanji wonders if the guild is being stingy. The old man panics, clarifying he meant the half-dead manager, while the guild has plenty of maids. Our boy tells him to just follow guild rules and leaves, while Master Shu bows in deep respect. As they walk away, Dwanji starts worrying about why his sister hasn't returned home yet. He hands over a bag of gold, telling the girl to use it for her own living expenses. Tianroro is completely dumbfounded by his kindness as he begins to walk away without a word. He looks back, explaining that her only job is to serve his sister well once she returns. Clutched with determination, she vows to herself that she will never fail the trust of her new master. Our boy hands over the card, but the system fairy reminds him who really earned that loot. She teases him for peeking, while he tries to maintain his dignity during the high-stakes transaction. He drops nearly 1,000,000 gold, successfully converting his massive haul into a mountain of show-off points. He notices a lingering scent of perfume on the card, but she tells him to focus on leveling. After burning his points, a golden light erupts as he finally hits the 9th stage of his realm. He wonders why he doesn't feel different, but she explains his meridians are now perfectly clear and ready. Realizing he has to circulate power until dawn, he pinches her cheek to vent his annoyance. While the fairy drifts off to sleep, our boy is forced into a grueling all-night cultivation grind. Meanwhile, a genius named Uangu displays her 8th stage power, shocking the crowd at the assessment. The clan leaders watch with pride, convinced she is the ideal match for the prestigious Dwan family. The Dwan clan head greets the young heiress, curiously asking what brings such a high-status guest to their evaluations. She reveals she is looking for someone, secretly reminiscing about the mouth-to-mouth technique our boy used on her. While the clan head wonders if it's a family member, she remains focused on finding her mysterious savior. Our boy finally steps onto the field, walking toward the testing crystal with the confidence of a true powerhouse. His trash-tier cousins immediately start mocking him, telling him to stop messing around before he gets carried out. The clan head fumes silently, thinking about how he suppressed the news just so his son could kill him. The young heiress is suddenly struck with realization, finally connecting the dots that the man she wants is him. He places his hand on the crystal, instantly triggering a grade excellent result that proves he is a genius. Uangu is left completely dumbfounded, wondering how a supposed failure managed to reach the 7th stage so easily. Even the other arrogant rivals are spooked as she tells them to stay away, clearly terrified of his power. Diao fumes in the crowd, clenching his fist while vowing to repay our boy for the earlier embarrassment. Uncle Fu insists his 7th stage strength is enough, but our boy knows he needs to show off more. He reaches into the drawing box, refusing to stop until every person here respects the Duan name. Pulling out a slip for Group A, he wonders which unlucky soul is about to get their world rocked. His cousin Uangu approaches with a smug grin, claiming she won't make his defeat look too ugly. The clan leaders watch from above, convinced that the 8th stage genius will finally end this trash-tier streak. She draws her blade with confidence, but our boy just stands there, daring her to use her full power. She unleashes a massive wave of sword chi, certain that this flashy strike will end the match instantly. Without even uncrossing his arms, our boy casually leans back, letting the deadly energy whistle past his face. Uangu is left completely dumbfounded, nearly falling over as he witnesses the impossible happen before his eyes. Our boy casually yawns in her face, racking up massive system points by treating her attack like a nap. Uangu fumes with rage, claiming she wanted to be merciful, but now she's going to get nasty. She lunges forward with a glowing strike, putting every ounce of her 8th stage power into one desperate blow. Dwanji just smirks, because he's already seen through the flaws of her supposedly perfect sword technique. Up in the stands, Uangu brags about his daughter's genius, thinking she mastered the move overnight. The two elders trade shameless flattery, while Yan Shueisho watches their cringeworthy behavior with pure disgust. She realizes the move is all show and no substance, lacking any real internal power to be effective. Yan Shueisho is left speechless when our boy finds the hidden opening in the top-tier skill instantly. He effortlessly counters and pins her, playfully asking if she wants to see how a real master strikes. With a single fluid motion, he demonstrates the true form of the technique, leaving his cousin completely outclassed. Dwanji gives his cousin a final chance to surrender gracefully, before he decides to end things himself. Uangu tries to play the pity card, begging him to let her win for the sake of her future. It turns out she was just stalling, launching a sudden cheap shot kick. While our boy is supposedly distracted, he blocks the strike without breaking a sweat, reminding her that this assessment is just as vital for him. She is completely dumbfounded when she realizes her attack just bounced off a high-level True Essence shield. With a sudden burst of raw power, he sends her flying across the arena like a piece of trash. His breakthrough to the 9th layer manifests a spirit's soul mark, proving he is in a league of his own. Uangu hits the pavement hard, coughing up blood as her pride and her cultivation are utterly crushed. Dwan Kan rushes to her side, acting like a big shot, while promising to take out our boy next. The arrogant brat smirks at Dwanji, bragging about his own advancement, as if he actually stands a chance. Dwan Kan confronts our boy, acting like his survival is some kind of miracle he didn't expect to see. The brat starts yapping about meeting a legendary master called the Wheel King and inheriting his ultimate legacy. He reveals a new saber technique that apparently requires a very personal sacrifice to reach its peak power. Our boy is annoyed that even trash-tier villains get lucky breaks while the system fairy just mocks him. She offers to boost his cultivation if he makes the same sacrifice, but he refuses to lose his manhood. Dwan Kan is itching to take first place, but the duel is suddenly put on hold by the boss. The clan head steps in with his attendants, suggesting they both take a breather to recover their strength. Dwan Kan eats it up, laughing about how thoughtful his old man is being during this major assessment. Dwanji eyes the recovery pill suspiciously, while the clan head wonders why he hasn't swallowed the bait yet. The system fairy warns him that the pill is actually 90% mana-restricting poison meant for his slaughter. Knowing the old man is watching, our boy reluctantly pays the fairy to purify the pill and avoid suspicion. After a lucky discount, he swallows the purified pill, while his system balance takes a hefty 2,000-point hit. The clan head feigns a graceful exit, telling the boys to perform well while secretly waiting for the trap. Feeling the pressure, Dwanji decides to play it safe by dumping his remaining points into a weapon upgrade. His blade transforms into a top-tier body weapon, glowing with enough power to handle any trash-tier surprises. Dwan Kan is absolutely ecstatic, believing his opponent is now a weakened target, ready for a final beatdown. The brat unleashes a dirty critical strike aimed right for the lower body, forcing our boy to jump back. He narrowly avoids the castration attempt, his boots skidding across the arena as the lethal duel finally ignites. Dwan Kan lunges with a lethal strike, but our boy realizes playing defense is a one-way ticket to failure. He forces himself to stay calm, knowing a chaotic mind is exactly what this trash-tier opponent wants. The brat keeps barking, mockingly asking if Dwanji is still the same scared loser from before. Instead of panicking, our boy enters a state of zen, letting his mana flow like a gentle breeze. As his blade erupts in a toxic green glow, Dwan Kan wonders if he's finally just given up. Thinking he has the upper hand, the arrogant noble unleashes a heavy vertical slash to end the duel. Our boy just smirks, realizing this whole flashy performance was nothing more than a desperate, one-trick bluff. He stands his ground against the descending strike, calling out the pathetic nature of these so-called evil arts. Effortlessly stopping the blade, he admits he only spared the brat before because he lacked the necessary strength. Dwanji channels the clear wind sword technique, a move designed to restore order with a single, precise strike. Before Dwan Kan can even blink, the cold steel is already pressed firmly against his pathetic, trembling throat. Our boy calmly reminds the brat that it's finally time to pay for everything he did to his sister. A shallow cut opens on the noble's cheek, a mere taste of the absolute destruction that's about to follow. Suddenly, a flurry of wind blades shreds his face, leaving the arrogant trash-tier bully screaming in pure agony. Watching from the sidelines, Uangu is completely dumbfounded by the sheer mastery of this final sword form. The clan leaders start sweating, wondering if our boy is backed by the powerhouse who auctioned that technique. Duan Quanshen snaps back, reminding everyone they all played a part in trying to ruin the kid's life. Hez left wondering how the boy still has mana, fearing has somehow become completely immune to all toxins. Dwan Kan is cornered and bleeding, refusing to accept another humiliating defeat at the hands of our boy. He desperately activates a forbidden self-preservation technique, his muscles bulging as he trades his life force for power. With a roar of pure hatred, the trash-tier noble lunges forward, putting everything into one final, lethal strike. The air shatters as a single hand casually intercepts the blow, stopping the massive force dead in its tracks. Dwanji just stares him down, mocking the idea that a simple secret technique could ever bridge their gap. Before the brat can even process the failure, our boy delivers a brutal kick that sends him flying backward. Dwan Kan is completely dumbfounded, unable to comprehend how his peak strength was caught like it was nothing. Driven by pure delusion, he swings again, screaming that he refuses to lose to a former family failure. Our boy just smirks and winds up a counter, ready to show him what real martial power looks like. Their fists collide, but the power difference is so massive it's like a mountain crushing a pebble. Our boy follows up with a heavy kick that sends the trash-tier noble crashing across the courtyard. As Dwan Kan struggles to breathe, Dwanji mocks him for putting on such a pathetic performance. Instead of ending it, our boy smirks and admits he's glad the brat is too stubborn to surrender. The arrogant noble can only scream in agony as he realizes his forbidden technique was utterly useless. Suddenly, the furious clan head steps onto the stage, unable to watch his son get dismantled any longer. Duan Quanshen glares at our boy and asks if he's actually looking for an early grave today. Duanji just shrugs it off, pointing out that the match continues until the loser finally yields. Even as his father begs him to yield, the delusional brat dares our boy to just finish the job. Our boy doesn't hesitate for a second, launching a final strike to make sure the message hits home. He pins the trash-tier brat down, mockingly agreeing to follow orders while dealing one last humiliating blow. The furious clan head rushes to his son's side, cradling the broken boy while screaming in pure agony. Consumed by a murderous rage, the old man lunges at Dwanji, swearing that today will be his last. Watching from the sidelines, the young heiress realizes the situation has spiraled completely out of control. As the lethal palm strike nears, our boy activates his weakening skill to neutralize the massive power gap. The old man is dumbfounded that his strike failed, realizing the kid is too dangerous to let live. He gathers even more mana into his fist, determined to erase our boy from existence regardless of the consequences. Suddenly, the young heiress leaps onto the stage, shielding Dwanji and demanding the madness end immediately. The old man tries to play the rules card, claiming our boy's victory was actually a criminal violation. The young heiress isn't buying his trash-tier excuses and demands to know exactly which rule he supposedly broke. She reminds everyone that the loser refused to surrender, making his current state his own damn fault. Desperate to save face, The patriarch orders his squad to clean house for the crime of murder. She draws a line in the sand, declaring anyone who moves is an enemy of her entire chamber. Suddenly, a beauty from the Meng family steps in, warning the old man not to pick a losing fight. She drops a bombshell, reminding the stunned patriarch that he kicked our boy out of the family years ago. Since he isn't technically a clansman, she smugly explains that their family law is completely worthless here. The heiress doubles down, noting that if he's still family, his status as the true heir is now undeniable. Our boy and his system guide realize these high society ladies have tongues sharper than any spirit sword. Realizing he's cornered, the patriarch forces a nervous, sweaty smile while trying to salvage his crumbling reputation. He plays the fool, claiming his earlier murderous intent was just a tiny emotional slip-up he deeply regrets. To bridge the gap, he presents a high-grade entry martial pill as a desperate, flashy peace offering. He practically begs them to take it, knowing the pill's value is enough to make any cultivator drool. The heiress remains cold, instantly sensing that this old fossil is trying to bait them into a trap. While she warns him this gift is a death sentence, our boy tells her he's got it all under control. He shamelessly accepts the apology, noting that a little compensation is the least he deserves after being framed. Proving he's the ultimate showman, he immediately gifts the pill to the heiress to repay her for the backup. The arrogant manager brags about his 4 elite bodyguards, thinking their cultivation level makes them untouchable. Seeing the threat, Uer begs her brother to run, but he knows running only invites more trouble. He makes it clear that, while he can handle insults, anyone touching his family is signing their death warrant. Fed up with the talk, the manager orders his trash-tier goons to put our boy in his place. One red-haired brute lunges forward, confident that a single strike will end the confrontation right then and there. To everyone's shock, he catches the massive fist with ease, proving his strength is on another level. The manager suddenly breaks into a cold sweat, realizing he's picked a fight with a monster he can't handle. Panicking, he screams for his men to kill him, desperately trying to hide his own growing terror. Our boy just stares him down, warning the pawn that serving a coward only leads to a painful end. With a sickening spray of blood, he ruthlessly tears through the guard, leaving the room completely dumbfounded. Seeing their comrade fall, the remaining guards realize they need to swarm our boy to stand a chance. 2 more trash-tier goons lunge forward, hoping that sheer numbers will finally overwhelm the mysterious powerhouse. One attacker unleashes a chilling palm technique, desperate to freeze the man who just embarrassed their squad. Dwanji effortlessly tracks the movement, noting that their boss is a coward for hiding behind these pawns. He delivers a swift counter, sending the red-haired brute flying back as if he weighed nothing at all. The icy energy is turned right back against them, leaving the attackers shivering from the sheer pressure. Fueled by rage over their fallen brothers, the last of the guards throw away their lives in a final charge. Our boy decides he has played around long enough and prepares to end this farce with a decisive strike. He unleashes the screams of the wind, a devastating blast that sends the entire group of goons airborne. The manager watches in absolute horror, realizing his entire security force was wiped out in a single heartbeat. The cowardly manager tries to bolt, desperately chanting that nobody can see him as he flees the scene. He screams for backup, even offering up his captives for free just to save his own pathetic skin. The trash-tier steward panics, cursing the man he thinks is trying to drag him into an early grave. Falling to his knees, he begs Dwanji for mercy, promising the entire establishment in exchange for his life. Our boy looks down at the groveling mess, unimpressed by the desperate offer of the House of Wind and Moon. He plays the part of a refined gentleman, claiming he has no interest in stealing what others cherish. With a cold smile and a clenched fist, he decides it's better to just bury the manager under the rubble. Turning to the dumbfounded girls, he informs them their tormentor is finished and tells them they are finally free. He hands a heavy bag of gold to his sister, instructing her to ensure everyone has enough to start over. Tian Ruru looks at him with newfound respect, asking to borrow a blade to settle her own lingering scores. Our boy gives the trash-tier manager 10 minutes to clear out before he burns the whole place down. Later, the Jan Harris invites the group to stay at her place since the city is getting dangerous. She warns him about the powerful families he's offended, but he's too busy eating to even listen. Suddenly, the system fairy pops up, nagging him to open his rewards before they expire like digital appetizers. He scores a medicine skill and a system patch that removes cooldowns, but costs points per use. Realizing he's been scammed into a pay-to-win scheme, he begs the tiny tyrant to undo the upgrade. She just laughs, explaining that his recent rampage earned him enough show points to keep the fire burning. He weeps over his new life as a corporate slave, while the heiress wonders if he's finally lost it. The peace is shattered when an attendant rushes in, announcing that the master's condition has turned critical. The heiress explains her father is dying from black malaria, a rare disease that devours a cultivator's essence. The heiress admits she only crossed paths with our boy while hunting for herbs to save her dying father. He casually mentions his master taught him the secret sauce for curing that nasty black malaria devouring the patriarch. Driven to a corner, she promises him anything he wants if he can just stop the old man's heart stop. The system fairy chimes in with a quest, making our boy realize this patient is basically a walking jackpot. They reach the sickbed, where the once great leader is surrounded by attendants who look completely out of their depth. The heiress begs her father to keep fighting while the disease cooks his insides like a cheap spiritual furnace. Our boy activates his super heavenly eye, his vision cutting through skin and bone to find the hidden rot. He spots a trash-tier parasite coiled around the Dantian, feasting on the man's cultivation like a spiritual leech. Learning the patriarch's power has almost vanished, he realizes they're dealing with a terminal case of malarial cancer. He checks his balance with the system fairy, ready to burn show points to fix this mess and level up. Our boy decides to stop playing around and activates a high-tier god of medicine possession skill. The system fairy just smirks, clearly enjoying how her favorite corporate slave is finally putting in the work. With divine power surging through his fingers, he readies a glowing needle to neutralize the internal rot. He manages to put the parasite into a deep sleep, telling the heiress the immediate danger has passed. Just then, a group of high and mighty doctors arrives, led by the supposedly legendary divine physician Li. His arrogant grandson starts barking about how his grandfather can fix any trash-tier illness in no time. The old man confirms the black malaria diagnosis, immediately demanding the rare black soul grass for a cure. The heiress cuts him off, explaining that our boy has already stabilized her father's crumbling condition. The grandson is left dumbfounded, wondering how a notorious waste could possibly pull off such a miracle. Another expert calls her reckless, convinced that letting a failure touch the patriarch is a total death sentence. Physician Li actually gives credit where it's due, admitting our boy managed to put the parasite to sleep. The old man prepares a qi-infused needle, confident he can finally lock down and kill the pest. He drives the needle home, sending a surge of green energy deep into the patriarch's body. Instead of dying, the shadowy parasite goes berserk and lashes out with a violent burst of energy. The backlash is instant, leaving the patriarch coughing up blood as his internal organs take a massive hit. Li is completely rattled, sweating as he wonders how the parasite could possibly survive his best strike. He finally admits his skills are lacking, but his arrogant grandson just can't handle the blow to their reputation. The brat starts screaming, claiming our boy's earlier meddling is the only reason the treatment failed so miserably. Our boy just keeps his cool, acknowledging the old man's ethics while calling the grandson a total joke. He explains that the parasite is entrenched in the Dantian, having already devoured 6 levels of cultivation. The trash-tier grandson starts barking, threatening our boy for supposedly ruining the family's legendary reputation. Physician Li has finally seen enough and shuts the brat up before he makes things even worse. The old man humbles himself, admitting our boy's medical genius is actually leagues above his own. The grandson is absolutely dumbfounded, unable to believe his grandfather is bowing to someone he considers a waste. Our boy realizes the situation has changed, and he'll have to settle for just removing the parasite now. He politely asks the old senior to borrow his silver needles, and the doctor is honored to help. Activating his super heavenly eye, our boy prepares to perform a high-stakes surgery with a glowing needle. With his vision enhanced, he tracks the shadowy parasite as it tries to hide within the patriarch's body. The creature bares its exaggerated fangs, sensing the incoming strike and preparing to resist with everything it has. Our boy notes how ridiculously large the creature's fangs are, realizing normal needles might not be enough. The Yan Harris presents a hidden scroll, willing to sacrifice any family treasure to save her father's life. Divine Physician Li is dumbfounded to see the Ice Soul Silver Needles, a legendary tool from the capital. When she asks if they're suitable, our boy confidently declares the patriarch's life is now in his hands. He channels his searing chi, mocking the vile parasite for thinking it could hide from his sight. The desperate creature actually tries to bite the needle, sensing its impending doom as the heat closes in. Our boy remains unfazed, already preparing a full set of needles to finish this trash-tier pest for good. With 7 needles pinning its shadowy form, the parasite is completely immobilized and unable to flee. He commands the room to prepare for the aftermath. Knowing the old man must sit up for extraction, the heiress and a guard hold the patriarch steady, placing all their faith in our boy's unorthodox methods. He strikes the final pressure point with a glowing needle, forcing the creature to finally let go. The patriarch hacks up a glob of black blood as the parasite is finally evicted from his body. The shadowy pest hits the floor, writhing helplessly now that its cozy hiding spot has been destroyed. A Yan elder looms over the creature, cursing it for the misery it brought upon their clan leader. He wastes no time and stomps the trash-tier parasite into a messy smear on the floorboards. Turning to our boy, the elder bows and swears the Yan family's eternal loyalty for this miracle. The heiress smiles with relief, knowing that as long as her father breathes, nothing else matters. Even the legendary physician Li is dumbfounded, though his salty grandson tries to call it dumb luck. Realizing the brat is making a scene, the old doctor apologizes and prepares to head out. He drags the kid away by the head, promising a brutal schedule of herb slicing to teach him humility. The system fairy pops up to offer a reward, but our boy is only thinking about his points. The system fairy tallies the show points, leaving our boy fuming because he's still in the red. Yan Chuishui is so grateful, she offers to repay him with absolutely anything he desires. Seeing the spark, the Yan elder decides to keep this choice cut of meat in the family pot. He boldly suggests that Yan Chuishui should just marry him, catching the poor girl completely off guard. While she turns into a blushing mess, our boy is certain this is all just one big misunderstanding. He leans in close, making her heart race as he prepares to name his price. Completely swept up in the moment, she promises to give him whatever he asks for. Turns out, the dense brat only wants her ice soul silver needle, crushing any romantic atmosphere instantly. She is mortified that she just shouted her consent to a marriage proposal that wasn't even happening. The elder just laughs it off, more convinced than ever that his niece is head over heels. The Yan elder keeps teasing his niece, telling her she needs to work hard to keep a rare man. Since the patriarch is still recovering, the old man suggests Shui guide our boy to the local pharmacy. The two set off through the bustling city streets, though the vibe between them is anything but romantic. While she worries he might not like her, our boy is actually stressing over his lost show points. Suddenly, she stops in her tracks, pulling him out of his internal calculations about his system rewards. He asks what the holdup is, only for her to reveal they have finally reached their destination. The pharmacy is massive, clearly a high-end spot that only the elite of the city would frequent. Once inside, Trishui introduces him to Sister Hong, a key figure from the influential Hmong family. Sister Hong eyes him curiously, noting that anyone Shui brings around must be cut from a different cloth. Our boy is completely dumbfounded as he realizes this woman is far more than just a simple shopkeeper. Sister Hong beams at him, looking like a literal elf in our boy's delirious and exhausted state. Dwanji rubs his eyes, wondering if the stress of losing show points is finally making him lose it. Seeing her human form return, he figures she is a high-level NPC he needs to stay with. She acknowledges his medical genius, while he stays focused on securing the herbs needed for the patriarch's recovery. Suddenly, a loud-mouthed troublemaker hits the floor, screaming that the shop is selling bug-infested trash-tier herbs. These extortionists demand an explanation from the manager, threatening to die on the spot to cause a scene. Sister Hong remains icy calm, asking if they have gone senile or just taken the wrong medicine. The thugs are not backing down, shamelessly demanding 1,000,000 gold coins to keep their mouths shut. To everyone's shock, the customers find actual rove beetles crawling inside the premium ginseng roots. Fearing for their lives, the spectators decide to bail before they end up poisoned by the tainted stock. Our boy acts dumbfounded, asking what a rove beetle even is, which leaves the heiress completely stunned. He casually explains that his godly medical skills are for raising the dead, not memorizing trash-tier bug facts. Yan Shui clarifies that these pests look like sesame seeds and drain the spiritual energy right out of herbs. Apparently, if some poor soul swallows one, the toxins will make them wish they were dead instead. The thug doubles down on his act, shamelessly demanding compensation for the lethal beetle he supposedly just ate. Sister Hong looks on with amusement, wondering if Dwanji actually believes this clown's obvious and pathetic lies. Stepping up with a smirk, our boy offers a free diagnosis to save the man from his agonizing pain. While the extortionist claims there is no cure, Dwanji insists that every poison has its own specific antidote. He mocks the man's ignorance, stating that only a total quack would find such a minor toxin difficult. Suddenly, he strikes the thug's chest, intending to force the truth out of this trash-tier scammer once and for all. A trash-tier lackey tries to jump our boy, screaming about someone laying hands on his boss. Dwanji just activates his eye technique, seeing right through their pathetic attempt at a physical threat. In a flash, the thugs are eating dirt, while Dwanji calmly suggests a stomach-pumping procedure. The lead scammer looks absolutely dumbfounded when he hears that the cure involves drinking some golden juice. Realizing things are getting way too real, the thug suddenly claims his life-threatening beetle was just a stomachache. Our boy just laughs, asking if he really expects everyone to believe his sudden change of heart now. Before the trash-tier actor can blink, he's left coughing up blood and regretting his entire life's choices. He drops to his knees, begging for mercy and admitting there was never any beetle to begin with. Sister Hong steps in with a graceful smile, suggesting that maybe it is time to show some mercy. She notes it's their anniversary, and bullying customers, even the fake ones, would be bad for their public image. Dwanji agrees to let the guy go, but only if he agrees to one specific, humiliating condition. Now, the scammer is stuck paying for everyone's medicine until the hourglass on his head finally runs dry. Sister Hong hands over a VIP card, clearly impressed by how our boy handled the trash-tier extortionists. She praises his sophisticated methods, noting that a talent like him definitely has a limitless future ahead. As they prepare to leave, the Commerce Queen pulls the young heiress aside for a private little chat. Yan Shuishui is caught off guard, wondering what kind of advice the older woman is about to drop. The representative whispers that Dwanji is a rare find, and she better make her move early. While the heiress turns bright red from the teasing, our hero just stands there wondering what the secret is. He asks if they're coming or not, completely oblivious to the romantic plotting happening right behind his back. Even the system fairy is enjoying the peace, though she can't help but mock his total lack of ambition. Our boy remembers he has a lottery spin left, and the system fairy mocks his selective memory. She presents the roulette, but he knows the whole thing is rigged by her behind the scenes. He hits the jackpot with soul perception, a rare skill that lets him sense every tiny detail around. Feeling like a new man, he decides it's time to put this sensory power to the test. He pushes the range of his environmental sensing to see just how far his new eyes can reach. Suddenly, he picks up a very harmonious silhouette, and realizes his new vision is a bit too revealing. Our hero jokingly thinks he needs to upgrade this black and white feed to high definition as soon as possible. He spots the heiress in a compromising position, and wonders what on earth she is actually doing. His heart skips a beat when he senses a sudden spike of danger lurking in the shadows nearby. Back in reality, Sister Hong graciously accepts their gift, reminding them that kindness is always a good investment. Yan Shuishui assures the clan head that the Yan chamber will safeguard the entry martial pill for Dwanji. She then asks our boy if they can finally let this exhausting family matter come to an end. Seeing no other choice, the old man grovels on the floor while Dwanji offers a smug forgiveness. Once they are alone, the two sit down to discuss the deeper secrets behind his sudden rise. While drinking, the heiress points out that he has clearly been hiding his true capabilities this whole time. She slams her glass down, demanding he confess every single secret he is still keeping from her. Our boy just scratches his head and admits he was the one behind his previous secret identity. She isn't satisfied with that trash-tier answer and leans in, refusing to let him brush her off. When she demands to know the identity of his master, Dwanji is left completely dumbfounded. Right on cue, the system fairy appears, dramatically claiming her secret identity can no longer be hidden. System fairy is losing her mind, terrified that being discovered means ending up on a research table. Dwanji plays it safe, firmly stating that his master's identity is a secret hell take to the grave. The heiress doesn't push that point further, instead leaning in with a much more personal request. She demands he teach her that mouth-to-mouth technique, suspecting he's just using it as an excuse for skinship. Our boy smirks and warns her the training is intense, but she's surprisingly willing to pay the price. She actually closes her eyes and waits for the lesson, leaving him completely dumbfounded by her boldness. The romantic tension is instantly shattered when his servant girl rushes in with a face full of terror. While the heiress is fuming over the interruption, the girl gasps out that something terrible has happened. The news hits like a truck, as she reveals his precious sister was kidnapped by the local scum. Dwanji's eyes fill with a cold, murderous intent as he realizes his family is in grave danger. Dwanji asks the heiress to protect his servant, while she warns him not to cross the LV family. As our boy storms off, she wonders what he's planning, but his mind is already set on war. With a gaze cold enough to freeze blood, he simply states that he's going to kill everyone responsible. Meanwhile, poor Yuer is trapped in a cage, still unconscious after being snatched by those trash-tier thugs. She slowly comes to with a splitting headache, feeling completely disoriented in the dim, unfamiliar light. The girl's heart sinks as she realizes she's been locked away like a common animal in a cage. Nearby, a sleazy guard is busy selling draws for the girls to any customer with enough gold coins. It's a total hellhole where captives are forced to act like dogs just to please their twisted masters. Yuer finally recognizes her location, realizing she's been dragged into the depraved and dangerous House of Wind and Moon. Another captive warns her that this is the brutal reality of offending the powerful members of the LV family. Yuer's cellmate tries to comfort her, promising they'll face whatever nightmare comes next together. Suddenly, a trash-tier noble named LV Rengia steps up with a sickeningly smug grin on his face. He announces a fresh batch of goods to the crowd, treating these poor girls like common marketplace produce. The bidding war ignites instantly as greedy spectators start throwing around gold like it's nothing but paper. Two low-level thugs start bickering over who has the deeper pockets, completely oblivious to the real threat. Their petty squabble is cut short when a heavy pair of boots steps forward with a massive bid. Our boy Dwanji, disguised as a high-ranking master, commands the room and makes the small fry scatter. He plays the part perfectly, claiming he needs the girls to fuel his next big cultivation breakthrough. The terrified auctioneer quickly folds, ordering his men to move the captives to a private room upstairs. Yuer breaks down in tears, fearing she'll never see her brother again. As she's led away, Duan Yuer is at her absolute limit, praying they can be family again in another life. Just as hope fades, our boy Dwanji smashes through the walls like a literal god. He reaches the cage and promises his sister that nobody will ever hurt her again. With one swift strike, he shatters the bars and frees the other captives from their nightmare. The girls are stunned, realizing the brother they once knew has become a total powerhouse. Suddenly, a trash-tier noble appears, mocking Dwanji for even daring to show his face here. LV Rengia is so full of himself that he immediately orders his men to execute our boy. Later, back at safety, Duan Yuer mysteriously collapses while doing simple chores with Tian Roru. Dwanji knows something is wrong and realizes he needs to dig deeper into this strange illness. He activates his super heavenly eye, desperate to find whatever hidden poison or curse is hurting her. Duanji's eyes widen as he spots a fox immortal reincarnation soul hovering over his unconscious sister. He warns a panicked Tian Roru that if this spirit isn't refined, a demon will possess her body. If that happens, his sister's soul will be erased, leaving nothing but a hollow shell for the beast. He recalls how she stayed by his side during his trash-tier days, making his blood boil with determination. Our boy refuses to let her go, swearing that no spirit will ever take her away from him. Suddenly, the system fairy appears, offering a high-tier solution that costs a massive chunk of his show points. She presents the soul wrestling rope, but warns that failure means the fox will devour them both. Since he's nearly broke now, he takes the glowing rope, knowing this is his only shot at success. He decides to worry about farming more points later, because right now, his sister's life is on the line. Our boy prepares to strike, ready to rip that immortal soul right out of her failing body. Dwanji lashes out with the soul wrestling rope, aiming to bind the immortal beast once and for all. The glowing rope cinches tight around the fox immortal, trapping the entity before it can erase his sister. A massive surge of spiritual energy erupts, piercing the sky and alerting everyone in the city to the chaos. Sister Hong watches the light pillar from afar, realizing the source is coming directly from the Yan family estate. She looks on with a heavy heart, swearing that she will eventually find the person she has been seeking. Back inside, our boy is struggling as the fox curse begins to manifest physically on his own face. He growls at Tian Ruru to run, fearing the backlash of the spiritual wrestling will claim her life too. But the loyal servant girl won't budge, reminding him that she owes him everything and won't leave his side. She wraps her arms around him, determined to share whatever burden or pain this ritual demands of him. As she holds on tight, the fox immortal lets out a final, agonizing shriek while being dragged into submission. Dwanji finally triggers the evil sealing wave, sucking the fox immortal's spirit into his specialized system treasure. Tian Ruru clings to him in a flood of tears, vowing to stay by his side even in death. Once the chaos subsides, our boy jokingly tells her to let go before she actually squeezes his life away. She frantically apologizes for her grip while he thanks her, admitting her presence helped him finish the ritual. The servant girl turns her attention to the unconscious sister, worried that her body is still burning with fever. The massive mental strain finally breaks Dwanji, and he collapses into a deep, snoring sleep on the floor. Seeing her master totally spent, Roru tucks him in, realizing even a powerhouse needs someone to watch over him. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to the Liu family estate, where a heavy, vengeful atmosphere hangs over the night. The clan gathers in mourning for Liu Zihan, with his sister and father standing before his funeral tablet. The Liu patriarch seethes with pure hatred, swearing that this irreconcilable grudge will only end with Dwanji's blood. The Liu patriarch and his daughter are fueled by pure spite, swearing to make our boy pay in blood. He immediately orders a carriage to the Dwan family, ready to settle this debt once and for all. Meanwhile, over at the Yan family estate, the morning sun brings a momentary sense of peace. Our boy finally wakes up feeling refreshed, only to find his loyal servant girl using him as a pillow. He panics, worrying that any misunderstanding might get him banned by the system's strict moral codes. He quickly scrambles away, leaving the exhausted girl to finish her nap on the floor. He tries to play it cool, convincing himself that a true gentleman like him is totally beyond such temptations. Shaking off the awkwardness, he rushes over to check if his sister has finally recovered from the ordeal. He tries to activate his super heavenly eye, but the system coldly reminds him he's broke on points. The system fairy just laughs, reminding him that he's already deep in debt from their last discount. Dwanji receives word that the Lu and Dwan families have officially formed an alliance to kill him. Our boy finds it hilarious that two massive clans are teaming up just to pressure one body realm cultivator. When the Yan attendant tells him to stay inside, he realizes they want him to hide like a coward. Refusing to be a turtle in a shell, he walks out to face the trash tier mobs himself. Outside the gates, the Lu Patriarch and Duan Quan Shen have gathered rebel soldiers, looking ready for a massacre. The orange-haired girl starts blasting his name through a megaphone, hoping to ruin his reputation before he dies. Duan Quan Shen smirks, agreeing that breaking the boy's spirit is much better than just ending his life. The Lu Patriarch bellows a final threat, promising a painful death to anyone who stands in their way. Suddenly, the massive gates of the Yan estate swing open with a heavy creak, cutting the tension short. Yan Shui steps out with Yan guards, coldly warning the two old men to leave before she loses patience. Duan Quanshen admits he can overlook family drama, but insists on backing his in-laws against our boy. The Lu Patriarch bellows into his megaphone, calling Dwanji a brainless bastard who needs to pay in blood. The commotion draws a crowd, with everyone dumbfounded by the sheer audacity of the Lu family's public threats. The trash-tier spectators gossip about how the once useless kid managed to take down so many famous experts lately. Back inside, the Yan Patriarch warns our boy that his hot-blooded nature might eventually lead to his downfall. Dwanji simply explains that he saved the old man out of respect, not to leverage a future favor. Seeing the kid's resolve, the Patriarch vows to protect him from the trash-tier mobs waiting outside the gates. A system notification suddenly pings, granting our boy a massive point haul thanks to the enemy's public slander. He starts trembling against the wall, making the Patriarch think the poor kid has finally lost his mind. In reality, our boy is just cackling because the Lu Patriarch's loudmouth just made him a system millionaire. Our boy kicks the door wide open, making a grand entrance that leaves Yan Chuishu completely dumbfounded. Seeing the kid actually show his face sends the trash-tier elders into a hysterical, screaming fit. Yan Chuishui tries to pull him back, but Duanju refuses to be the type who hides behind others. The Lu Patriarch points a trembling finger, demanding the kid pay for his son's life right here. Duanji just mocks them, claiming killing that bully was a public service while farming massive system points. The old man grinds his teeth in fury, refusing to let a brat dictate terms to his family. He prepares a lethal lightning strike, fully intending to wipe our boy off the face of the earth. Suddenly, the Yan Patriarch steps out, surprising everyone with his recovery as he stands behind his young savior. He unleashes a massive fiery aura to remind these trash-tier mobs that he won't tolerate any more killing. Realizing they are totally outmatched, Duan Quanshen warns his ally that they can't afford to act rashly now. Dwanji offers a deal, telling the old man he can have his life if he succeeds in 3 moves. He then turns to the Yan Patriarch, insisting on settling this personal grudge without any outside interference. The Lu Patriarch snaps, pointing a finger, and eagerly accepting the brat's suicidal terms to end this right now. Channeling his 3rd stage entry martial power, the old man prepares a thunderclap palm meant to shatter internal organs. The lightning-charged strike connects directly with our boy's chest, sending sparks flying as the crowd gasps in horror. Instead of dying, Dwanji just yawns and mocks the weak skill, while farming a massive pile of system points. Duan Quanshen is completely dumbfounded, shouting at his ally to stop holding back against this monster of a kid. Desperate, the Lu Patriarch leaps high, pouring every ounce of his cultivation into a final, devastating thunderclap fist. Our boy just grins, activating his strong weakened skill to turn this ultimate move into a total joke. Dwanji calmly counts the 3 moves he just tanked, signaling that the old man's time is officially up. With a predatory smirk, our boy decides it's finally his turn to show what real power looks like. He delivers a single, bone-shattering punch that sends the Lu Patriarch flying like a piece of trash-tier laundry. As the old man collapses, Duan Quanshen panics and screams for his ally to get back into the fight. Seeing a desperate opening, the Duan clan head discards all honor and launches a cowardly sneak attack. The Yan Patriarch watches in a cold sweat, realizing he is simply too far away to stop this betrayal. The heavy palm strike connects, but our boy just grins, having predicted this pathetic move from the start. A massive shockwave erupts, shattering the courtyard wall as the 2 powers collide in a dusty explosion. Yan Chuishui rushes to support our boy, while her father curses the Duan leader's vicious sneak attack. Lu Patriarch insists on a lethal strike, while the Duan leader mocks how the old man gets spicier with age. Our boy remains calm, his sharp eyes showing he is ready to dismantle these trash-tier elders without a sweat. The orange-haired girl points in shock, unable to believe he is still alive after such a heavy beating. Duan Quan leaps in with a flaming palm, desperate to finish the job before things spiral out of control. The Yan patriarch intercepts the blow, refusing to let anyone act this shamelessly right at his own door. He just grins at the Duan leader, mocking the idea of them falling out over such a pathetic scheme. With a massive kick, he blasts the traitor back and asks if he really thinks he is even worthy. Duan Quan crashes into the Lu patriarch, the two of them tumbling across the floor like discarded laundry. The Duan leader sits there dumbfounded, realizing the Yan patriarch reached the 9th stage and suppressed his aura. The Yan patriarch promises to protect our boy, making it clear that no trash-tier elders will touch him. Seeing the gap in power, the Duan leader offers a hollow farewell before deciding to cut his losses. The defeated duo retreats in a hurry, realizing they've completely underestimated the Yan family's hidden 9th stage strength. Inside, the patriarch is dumbfounded, questioning how a first-stage cultivator could possibly unleash such a terrifying, high-level aura. He looks at the talismans, knowing these small gifts can't even begin to repay the life-saving debt he owes. He tells his daughter they must wake the boy at any cost, even if they have to use extreme measures. Yan Shuishui feels the pressure, her heart racing as she contemplates a way to save her unconscious savior. She remembers a forbidden technique called artificial respiration, believing it's a mystical ritual that can literally cheat death. Our girl leans in with a blushing face, ready to perform the forbidden move to bring her hero back. Yan Shuishui finally works up the courage, leaning in to perform the forbidden ritual on our boy. Just as their lips meet, Dwanji snaps his eyes open, catching her completely off guard mid-act. A loud crash echoes through the estate as the embarrassed heiress sends him flying for his shameless behavior. He just brushes it off with a smirk, claiming he's always been the type to take the initiative. Our boy teases her mercilessly, joking that her beginner-level technique was just enough to wake him up. She explodes in a fit of rage when he dares to act like he's the one making a sacrifice. Softening the mood, he gently pats her head and thanks her for being willing to save him. Turning serious, he shows her the mark on his palm, realizing Sister Hong was the one who pinned him. Since her strength is unfathomable, he decides it's time to pay another visit to that mysterious pharmacy. Dwanji returns to the pharmacy, ready to face the woman who's been playing 4D chess with his life. He finds a massive feast waiting, but he knows better than to trust a meal from a shark. Our boy admits that while he survived beatings, her sudden kindness is what actually has him on edge. Sister Hong just teases him, asking if he's truly scared of a little hospitality from a beautiful woman. He isn't buying the act, suspecting she's just looking for a new servant to keep under her thumb. She finally drops the games, explaining that she needs his unique skills to track down a certain person. The mood turns cold when she asks for his servant girl, causing him to knock over his drink. Looking at the red spill, he's reminded of the loyalty his girl showed when he was at his lowest. He stands his ground and refuses, making it clear he's not the type to trade lives for favors. Sister Hong points at his reflection in the spilled wine, reminding him that his life is in her hands. She smugly warns him that while she has plenty of time, his own clock is rapidly ticking away. Taking a slow sip, she offers one last piece of intel, if he agrees to play his part perfectly. Our boy puts on a fake smile and toasts to her, pretending to be her loyal little soldier. The moment he's free, he sprints back to the estate, sensing that something has gone horribly wrong. He bursts through the doors, frantically calling for his sister while his heart hammers against his ribs. He finds Yuer standing in the room, but the heavy atmosphere tells him she is far from fine. She forces a weak smile, trying to convince him she has recovered, but her eyes betray the lie. Behind her back, she grips a pair of scissors, desperately trying to hide the growing fox fur.